Sitting back at the house one afternoon, Zach gave me a call and said his hole was real hot. Due to the weather the day before, the birds were gonna be pushed down and all in his spot. I finally gave in and said, "Let's go, Zach." There's just something about sitting in a duck blind, watching the sun come up. We had a great day that day. We knocked a lot of birds out the sky, and we knocked a lot of birds onto the water. Zach's all about the duck hunting. Anytime he can break away from Bayou Teche guns, he goes duck hunting. I've even been hunting with him just for an hour at a time. And of course, we had to bring Dozer, Zach's favorite dog. Right before this hunt, Zach had just sold me a brand new gun. I couldn't wait to get out there and try it out. Our blind could have been a little higher off the water. Being a little tucked underneath the vegetation, you couldn't really see the birds until they were right on top of you. We had to put our cameraman to school. As you can see, you never have enough cameras. After you shoot out a big flock like this, it's always nice to have spectra shots so we can tell who shot what birds. And they're even good for them really high shots. We were shooting some 3-inch, and we didn't have trouble knocking them down when we were aiming at the birds.
Got him. Back nice.
The majority of the birds that we shot that day were blue-winged teal, green-winged teal, and some grays.
Well,
Sometimes it takes him a while, but he always gets his bird. There's me and Zach getting a little cocky in front of the camera with all the birds we got.
Well, we out here, west side of the Atchafalaya Basin. It's a good morning so far. Overcast, little front pushed through last night. It rained all day yesterday. All we heard all morning long was geese flying all over the place. Hunting's only gonna get better. We're just about done. We're gonna capitalize on a few more birds and then we'll probably head back.
There's always a better place to go, and there's always a worse place to go. I'd say we were right about in the middle. Most of the time we were looking at birds. There was very few dull moments in that blind. No matter how good or bad the hunt is, you always look forward to getting in the blind.
We sitting here, we just talking about what time we leave, and I'm going. When I see the bird, I put him in between my legs. I'm shooting like this because I didn't want him to fall through the floor.
But I ain't been gone too long, and I ain't never coming back.
I originated my swamp tours because I'm a gator trapper in the Atchafalaya. I'd go out every day and search for the alligators. My friends and family caught on to that, and they started offering me a couple dollars to take them into the basin. I started getting airboats, and the business grew. I also learned a lot of history about my swamp. If you or anyone you know wants to take a Mike swamp tour, MikeSwampTours.com. Call me, book a tour. I'll take you, show you the beauty of the Atchafalaya Basin. Well, you've seen it in the show. Anytime we hit the water, especially in the swamp, we use the gator tail outboard. We kept throwing stuff at these motors left and right. They kept chewing stuff up and spitting it out. It's a short version of a long tail. It's the first design of its kind. So if you want to go out in the field and you want something that's tough and reliable, you get a gator tail outboard. This product really does take us places we never thought possible. The Team Voodoo Pro staff always heads over to Bayou Teche Guns in Arnaville for all their gunsmithing needs. Over 40 years of gunsmithing knowledge, they also have a large selection of new and used guns. Shotguns, pistols, rifles, you name it, they got it. For all your gunsmithing needs, head over to Arnaville to Bayou Teche Guns. Alright guys, I hope y'all enjoyed everything that y'all just saw right there. It was a very, very exciting hunt. Me and Zach had a blast out there. We're out here. Chef Coke Patin, he's gonna show us how to whip up some I guess it's a gumbo today.
Yep, duck and andouille.
Duck and andouille
Really
gumbo.
appropriate. So, of course, we're gonna start off with a little bit of duck fat. And to this duck fat, we're gonna start to sear off our duck. Alright, so skin down, leave them whole. As it cooks in that gumbo, it's gonna break down on its own. So we're letting that simmer, we're letting that sear right now. And I have some fresh made andouille. We're gonna give this a good shot. Alright. And so, while that's searing, you wanna go ahead and chop up the rest of the andouille for me, G? Perfect. Alright, so we're searing our duck, getting a nice caramelization, browning. Alright. And that's gonna be, that duck is flavoring that fat, that oil. Okay? Because with this oil, we're gonna make our own roux. We're not buying store-bought roux. take some flour, take some fat, we're gonna put it together, and we're gonna make a nice old-fashioned Cajun roux. Okay? So our duck is nice and brown. I'll remove the duck. And for this, I'm gonna take a little bit of all-purpose flour. I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit in. Growing up, it's kind of one of those things that you learn from your grandmother, how to make a roux and your own roux. Homemade roux. If it goes too far and you burn it, unfortunately you have to start all over from scratch. Alright, so we're making a nice dark brown Cajun roux. Into that roux, we're gonna flavor it with our andouille sausage. So we're gonna throw that right in. And so that fat's giving, the andouille sausage is gonna give it a nice smoky flavor. So we're gonna sear that. It's also cooling down the roux, so that way your roux doesn't go too far. Okay? So we're letting that sausage brown. Into that, we're gonna add our onion, bell pepper, and celery. We'll throw that in. A little bit of bay leaf, a little bit of thyme, a little bit of garlic. Alright. And so that vegetables is helping cool down the roux and helping it so it doesn't burn. The darker the roux becomes, the more nuttiness, the more bitter that your gumbo is going to be. Each Cajun cook has their own level of roux. Some cooks like a nice brown roux versus a dark roux. I like a dark roux, kind of the color of dark chocolate. So we're letting that brown. We're going to go ahead and throw our seared duck back in the pot with any of those juices. And we're going to go ahead and start adding our stock, a little bit of stock at a time. Now, think about our roux and our liquid. If we want them to be opposite. So I have a hot roux right now. I need to add a cold liquid. If I would add a hot roux and a hot liquid, the flour is going to seize up and it's going to start to splash and it becomes very dangerous. Alright, so, and then it also will help it not foam up on you. So we're going to add our beef stock. I'm going with beef stock today, so it's going to complement that gaminess of that duck. So we add a little bit of stock. It's sweating up. And a little bit more stock.
That smells good. Amazing. I'm sorry y'all can't smell this. This is good. Y'all missing out.
Usually what I'll do is I'll drop this down to a simmer. And I'll let this simmer for several hours. You can even put it in a crock pot and let it go overnight on low. The more it cooks, the more that duck is going to fall apart. The bones from the duck is going to help flavor that gumbo and make a nice, rich, hearty gumbo. So we'll have some white rice. Have some that we let it cook overnight. See the color of that dark roux, kind of how it colors that nice stock. Alright. There you go, ladle. A little bit of that gumbo. That's one of those things with especially wild duck. You have some little bones, so you want to be careful when you're eating gumbo. But you can also debone the duck ahead of time, so that way there's no bones, and you really won't have any trouble with it.
That's a beautiful bowl of gumbo.
We're gonna add a little bit of green onions to the top, and we're gonna sprinkle a little bit of gumbo filet. Gumbo filet is just ground up sassafras leaves. Alright, but you always want to make sure that you start off with that properly made dark brown Cajun roux.
You just heard it from Colt. Right here, this is how you make a duck gumbo. I hope y'all enjoyed this segment, and we look forward to seeing y'all on the next one.
Alright guys, for this segment we're gonna do something a little special. This goes back deep in the vault. This is where I got started doing my filming. This is when I had a goal and I wanted to have a television show. So I brought a camera with me everywhere I go and pulled out some old deer hunting footage that I have. It's not every day you get this much good footage of deer, but that year I stayed in the woods 24/7. I'm really excited to be able to bring this footage to y'all. I'm still an amateur, but back then, all I knew how to do is press record and get the footage.
Charlie told me earlier he don't want to run no more, he's too cold. It's the starting of the rut. It's cold, it's cold, it's cold. I can't tell you how cold it is right now. It's in the 20s, the low 20s right now. Louisiana, Atchafalaya River, rut should be kicking in. Yesterday we saw some bucks chasing some does. Waiting to see one of them to walk out. It's cold, I'm cold. We're all cold. Stay with us. Rifle. We got a doe tag, and the deer just about finished rutting. I got some deer urine. I sprayed all around here. I made a line coming in. Feeder's not working. The deer are skirting this food plot, the big ones, Mac Daddy. He's skirting this food plot. He don't ever go into the food plot, he always skirts it. And we can see him from the stand, but you can't make a shot. You got an armadillo behind me. I thought it was a deer. But stay with us. We're gonna, Team Voodoo's gonna put the smack down on something this afternoon.
After a long shot like this, it makes me appreciate shopping at Bayou Teche Guns. I had just put a new scope on this gun and set it up.
Whacking and stacking, baby. Opening day of primitive weapon. 10-point walks out. Looks to be about a 3-year-old. Put it right behind the shoulder. Squeeze the trigger. He bucked and ran off. Looked like a good shot. Cross my fingers. Looks like a good deer. Y'all stay with me. Let's see. We're gonna give it a few minutes, and we're gonna go look for him. He's dead. He's dead. And he's a good one. Good mass, good tines. Best buck yet today, right here.
Alright guys, it was a very exciting hunt for me. I hope that was a very exciting hunt for y'all. Got Chef Coat Patin with me right now, and he's gonna go ahead and whip up something with the deer.
Nice smothered deer in a gravy. Can't go wrong with it. So
Give it to us. Let's see what we got.
Deer roast that you gave me was beautiful. Very lean. Kind of trimmed off some of that excess fat. So I'm going to take some of our voodoo spice, voodoo seasoning. I'm just going to go ahead and apply a general amount. Cover both sides. We want to make sure that we put all the flavor that we can. Alright, we have our cast iron. We're going to go ahead and put a little bit of fat. Again, we're using a little duck fat. You can use vegetable oil, you can use a little lard. Lard would be very nice in this application as well. And I'm going to go ahead and sear. Now, you can actually cut this deer into smaller steaks or little pieces, little stew meat if you want. I like to take it and let it braise about 4 or 5 hours, low and slow. And then you'll have a nice little portion for each of your guests. You can actually take and sear and then let it rest and cut it up some more right after that when you get ready to put it back in your gravy. So we're going to let that meat caramelize and form a crust, which is going to sear in a lot of those natural juices. Right, so while that's searing, I'm going to throw in some onion, bell pepper, celery, give it some flavor, a little bay leaf, a little thyme, a little garlic. We're going to let that simmer. While that's browning, we're going to add our onion, bell pepper, celery, give us a little flavor, add a little garlic. We don't want to add our garlic too soon because then the garlic's going to burn, become very bitter. So you kind of want to stage your ingredients. A little bay leaf, a little thyme, a little stock. We're going to add our vegetables. Let our vegetables brown a little bit. And we're going to add our stock. The stock is deglazing. It's getting all that spawn and foundation from the bottom of the pan. If you're low and slow, let your gravy do its thing. Kitchen bouquet is not required, not needed at all. Alright, it's one of those things that just slow and slow. Let it build that flavor, build that foundation. So while this is simmering,
This would probably be a 3 to 4 beer project.
Right.
Yeah.
We have some white rice, of course. And this one it's been simmering. I just went ahead and cubed it up. Nice little gravy. Serving with some green beans. That's just been smothered with a little onion, bell pepper, celery, a little stock, a little garlic. And last, of course, the green onion right on top. Smothered deer. Can't go wrong. Serve that with some French bread. It's really good.
Well, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed what Colt just whipped up for us, and I hope y'all enjoyed the show today. Go ahead and check back in with us next week, 11 o'clock, next Sunday. Thank you, Colt.
Well, you've seen it in the show. Anytime we hit the water, especially in the swamp, we use the gator tail outboard. We kept throwing stuff at these motors left and right. They kept chewing stuff up and spitting it out. It's a short version of a long tail. It's the first design of its kind. So if you want to go out in the field and you want something that's tough and reliable, you get a gator tail outboard. This product really does take us places we never thought possible. The Team Voodoo Pro staff always heads over to Bayou Teche Guns in Arnaville for all their gunsmithing needs. Over 40 years of gunsmithing knowledge, they also have a large selection of new and used guns. Shotguns, pistols, rifles, you name it, they got it. For all your gunsmithing needs, head over to Arnaville to Bayou Teche Guns.